So it's been almost a year since I actually published the episode here on Anchor. And man, it's been about a good 9 months term, enough time to have a baby. But when I look back at my last episode and think of what I was starting, and then now I see where I am today in February 11, 2020, man, so many things have changed. Since May 2019, I have been ripping, running, and networking. Just to sum it up a little bit, I actually retired at the age of 32. I started my own travel business, and I'm in the process of starting my own cleaning business. So, things have taken off. I'm back on Anchor. I figured that, it would be great to share my experiences and share my successes and even some of my failures and faults with people in my audience, because how do you ever really get to know somebody unless you know how they fell and got back up? But, where do I begin to catch you guys up and keep it real light? May 2019, I was offered an opportunity to join an amazing company that has given me the ability to retire, giving me more time freedom and more money freedom. That company is Planet Marketing and Teletravel. So, in doing that, I retired myself, and then I actually got up and started to travel the world. You can follow me on IG at Really Row to see where I've been. I'm not gonna, bog y'all down with all of that. But that's just to say I've really been living my best life, man. I've really just been trying to keep myself out of negative spaces and negative auras. And once I started doing that, the doors opened up for me. One thing I did listen back to on that last episode I played was about I was going to become a third on a podcast. And as you can see, that just didn't pan out. And I bring that up to say, where I am now versus where I was then, it showed me the level of determination, and it showed me the level of passion you have to do what you do. And when you're working with people that don't have that same passion, that shit gets hard, because you end up doing everything on your own. You invest money, time, and effort into people, and they don't reciprocate the feeling. So, in that case, since May of last year to February 11th today, I done cleaned shop, I done glue up, and I'm just ready to make more waves in the world, man. Like, Jesus, life is so precious. My cousin, Zab Judah, won a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Oscars this year, just this Sunday night. If that didn't tell me I was destined for something, baby. I mean, yeah, I'm not a boxer, I'm not a celebrity or anything like that, but I just look at that from somebody I grew up with who has a Lifetime Achievement Award. They may not have spelled his name right on the award, but he has one. Man, I just want to get to that point in life too. But I'm back, y'all. I'm here. We're going to continue to keep it random. We're going to continue to engage, and let's just jump into some of the things that's been happening over the last week. So I'm pretty excited to do this segment because it's the first time I ever got the chance or the opportunity to bring somebody I respect on to get their viewpoint on topics. So I want to introduce my boy Dorian, who is D-Lo Speaks here on Anchor. Y'all can go ahead and follow him on Twitter. You are who? Go ahead and run that down for me, bro.
Yeah, y'all can follow my personal page on Twitter at AskMeSucker. And the sucker is SUCKA. And you can follow the podcast page, like he said, at D-Lo Speaks.
Cool. So this segment is going to be about Queen Radio episode 17, which I just got finished listening to in its entirety. I'm glad that you're on because I know you're a Nicki stan like me. I would like to say stan. I don't know if you're a fan or a stan, but I know that you're a Nicki fan like I am, and you have a very good viewpoint on things like I do.
Right.
You call things out when they need to be, and you stand up for the shit that's right. So I'm glad I got you on. Me personally, I didn't agree with the Mount Olive pickles. That's just a personal thing for me. Her choice of pickles was not hitting. I mean, my bitch definitely has taste, but apparently she doesn't have taste in pickles. I don't know how you feel about that, but she could have did better.
I don't really like. I don't eat pickles like that unless it's with something. So the brand wise, I mean, that's the
you
only
must not be
brand
from New
that I
York.
ever ate.
Where you from?
South Carolina.
Period. Okay. So we're gonna move on from the pickles then because you're not on my side. I'm from up north, you down south. Scratch that. But another thing I saw about an episode that overall I like how she grew throughout the episode.
Right.
Whereas sometimes she'll tell us, yeah, I'm gonna give y'all this, and that, and she don't do it and we get tight. But I thought it was pretty glow uppy of her, so to speak. I thought she grew because she didn't give nobody the cocksucker of the year, the cocksucker of the decade, when it was clear that somebody needed it.
Exactly.
So, right, and then she ended it on a positive note. Like, I really feel like this era is gonna be something different, and I feel like she realized some of the things she says and does on social media portray her in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So we love an artist who was aware, you know?
Right. And I think, like you said, I do think that was a good way for her to end the show. I was like, you know what, that's a smart move, because I feel like sometimes when it comes down to her saying or addressing certain things, it kind of like gets blown out of proportion, because these artists, these blogs know how to create a headline just for clickbait. And then people will take just that headline instead of reading or listening, and then they create the narratives. And then I do have to say that sometimes we don't make it any better, because we sometimes like go toward the one that gets the most traffic, and instead of nipping it in the bud, they egg it on. And when you egg it on, you don't really speak the facts that you need to. And then before you know it, that's when they start talking about numbers and charts.
Well, to be quite honest, you already lose if you've gone to their page, because everything, like you said, is about numbers. So before you even send your sentence or your read or your shade or whatever you're doing, they've already won because you're there. It's statistics. Like you've driven the traffic. So I know it's real corny to say, but altogether, just ignore everything. Like, my block game has been heavy since the beginning of 2019.
Right.
I used to go back and forth with these body gangs, dragging them up and down, leaving their wigs on mantles outside, setting them ablaze when I felt cold. But I decided to leave that alone, because arguing back and forth with you, and I'm never gonna meet you, you threatening me, and at the end of the day, I'm about facts.
Right.
Speak for themselves. So I just left that alone. But I'm glad that she noticed certain stuff and trying to be better. Please, Jesus, let this ever be different from the last one, because that rollout was horrible, and we don't even need to touch on that. Oh, but one thing I found fun through was the bars when they was getting calls. It's okay. So all of us like to get a call from Nikki. I ain't gonna front. I would like to get one. Right. I don't send my number. I don't do stuff like that, because I feel like it's millions of people doing this, and she's not gonna see it. Like, I've been standing for this lady for 13 years. So, I put in my time, my effort, and my money, and I feel like, okay, I can't do too much. But when these people do get on the phone and they freeze up, and maybe listen, y'all out here with follows from Nikki, and she's retweeting y'all and replying to y'all.
Exactly.
And then y'all getting phone calls. How is there any shock? Like, I don't get it. You should be, after you sent your number 15 times, your fucking question should have been written down.
Exactly.
Like, and then what are y'all asking her? Like, come on.
And they wasn't asking the right questions. Like, to be honest, all of the questions that was asked, these are the same questions that are being asked every single time she said she's going to call somebody. So I'm saying to myself, like, okay, y'all, everybody already know that she said that the documentary is coming. Don't ask that question again. She already said that new music is on the way. But she's not going to give y'all no dates. She's not going to give y'all a time when something is going to drop. They should know these things. So don't ask questions like that. Ask questions that are on the line of just hip hop topics in general, or about her personal life, but don't get too personal because there are boundaries.
Right.
And I do think that if the questions was already thought about before they already knew that the call was coming or was expecting it, then it would have had a better flow, and maybe she could have called more people and more questions could have gotten asked. But
Indeed. I also think that if you don't know what you're talking about, it's plenty of barbs out here with dope ass questions, and I'm not encouraging stealing and thieving. But
right.
if Nikki calls me and I freeze, I'm going right on Twitter, scrolling through, and I'm finding the question with a there's no way.
I don't blame you though. Yeah.
I'm always ready. Always ready, and you have to be ready when you stand a bitch like Nicki Minaj.
Exactly.
You just have to be. That's crazy. And the only question I really wanted somebody to ask was, what am I going to do with this Queen Pass? Because, baby, listen, I'm wearing it to the new tour, the old tour, and every other tour in between. Because you're going to see this thing and you're going to give me some clout off of this fucking Queen Pass.
I know that's right.
Shit, I bought 4 tickets to 4 different shows, but that's not the here nor there. Again, we're not going to talk about the Queen era.
Right. And but she might let y'all use the Queen Pass, and for the same reason, instead of having to double back.
Well, we'll never know because won't nobody ask.
Well, that's true.
That's probably something way far off of her mind right now. She's putting out new merch for Yikes. Who's thinking about a Queen Pass that's sold out?
This is true.
So it is what it is on that end. But why was everybody? Do you know why people was going off on Booth online? Why he was getting dragged?
Well, I think it's the same reason every time, just the music choice. I know that it was one point where she asked him to play the new Megan and Doja Cat song, and he played their old songs instead.
Oh,
and I was like, yo, Booth, that wasn't the song she was talking about. But he played Doja Juicy, and he played that what is it? That Diamond song from that soundtrack, instead of the actual new songs. So everybody was kind of roasting him. But I think that I don't know if he looked at what was trending, because he was thanking everybody for the love because he saw that he was trending.
Yeah, I went to his page and I was like, they are dragging you, son.
I was like, they roasting this nigga, and he not even he don't even know. But
I don't even understand. Poor Booth.
He forever getting roasted.
Forever and don't even know it. Well, I'm glad you went into the Megan and Doja thing, because that was the next thing I was going to ask you about. What songs did they play? But now that's not even important because he played some tired old songs. But anyway, I'm not going to keep you too much longer. But the last thing I want to chop it up with you about is Malibu. Let me tell you something. Malibu fucking Mitch. I have been loving this girl for years. And to see how she's progressing, she's steadily progressing. She ain't making it overnight. She ain't no overnight sensation. She's true to who she is. Titties A cup or negative A's, whatever they are. No butt. And she's just living her best life. And I love it for her.
Right.
But to hear this girl on this cypher with these dudes, she fucking ate that.
She did. And even with her saying that she wrote it the night before and came in and didn't really mess up, she only stopped because she felt, nervous that she was in Nicki's presence doing that. That says a lot, because a lot of people can't even do that.
Indeed.
And then she skated on that beat like it was nothing. And
listen, I had to listen to that over and over and over until I learned it word for word. And
right.
I said, just how you just eat it. Mommy said, bitch, I like sex, money, murder. Keep a mobility that's ready to roll up. And no, I can't fuck with no bum bitch. Keep me a bitty that's cold like October. What?
Exactly.
Skated. Come on.
In the worst place.
And to have Nicki recognize that, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. I love the love that Nicki shows. Nicki shows the love that she wants to show to people and to who she wants to show it to. She don't give it up for who the barbs press her for and who the barbs be like, oh, do this and do that. Because like she said in the previous episode, I'm going to do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And
So,
I do think that was a good look for Malibu because she's underrated. And I feel as though, maybe she's underrated because with her, the way that she raps, it's already been heard before when it comes down to, the deep, the masculine voice or whatever the case is. But even if you go beyond that and pay attention to her lyrics, you'll understand how underrated she is.
absolutely.
And I just discovered of her maybe 2 years ago. Because I always heard the name, but I didn't know, I just thought that was just something, a slang or something. I wasn't really paying attention. And then I saw her rapping on Instagram, and I was like, yo, this chick hard. And then that's when I realized who she was. And she reminded me of Foxy and Nicki at the time that I saw her. And I was like, dang, she underrated for real. But I think if she just find that moment where she could just like break through and people actually respect her, she'll go a long way. And she already got her cosign. So,
absolutely. I mean, she's the next one to watch. She's steadily going up, but she's the next one to watch. Because it seemed like some of the girls with Grammys and #1 albums and all these plaques that happened overnight is so burnt out. I just don't, I just don't get it. Where are you?
Exactly.
And, even though we keeping it positive and everything, and I'm about to let you go, I just felt like it was cute how, bitches drop a freestyle and get a rise out of niggas. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they found every reason to be mad about this Rosa Parks thing.
Every reason.
It didn't stick. It didn't stick at all.
Exactly.
And did you see old girl join Nicki's live?
No, I didn't peep that.
Oh, I have the screenshot. I'll definitely send it to you.
Yeah,
but
send that my way.
That's why she was on Queen Radio saying things like, oh, when people, I shout out to my haters that's watching. Nicki sees everything, son. And somebody probably sent her that screenshot. Mm-hmm. And I like to keep receipts and mementos like that because there's never going to be a time you can tell me that Nicki Minaj joined a old girls live.
Right.
Never that. Oh, but in any case, bro, I want to thank you for joining. Thank you for making this segment one of my best ones I've ever had. And I really look forward to getting your input and insight on a lot more. I love the chemistry that we got going on here. And before you get out of here, you could say anything to the people. Go ahead.
Yeah, so once again, y'all can follow me on my Twitter page at Ask Me Sucker. Follow my podcast page at D-Lo Speaks. And I also have another podcast that I do, and you can follow that page at Agenda Vocal. And y'all will be expecting more from me. And I want to thank you for having me on your show.
Absolutely, bro. I appreciate it. Well, I will be seeing you on the Twitter sphere. All right, bro? Thanks a lot.
All right. You're welcome.
Later. Though it's been about 3 weeks since Kobe and Gianna passed away, I know it's still fresh to a lot of people. And though I'm not a sports fan as heavy as a lot of other people are, and I was never a big Kobe fan, I think it's necessary that a lot of people who have spoken out about his death get to be heard, because outside of him being a basketball player, so many things that he's done in life and just who he was in what they're calling his second act meant a lot to people. And to be tragically taken away like that, it's sad that we have to look at his accomplishments once he's gone and then big him up for them now. But the thing I felt most, related to or attached to was the fact that he was just gone like that. Like, I'm sure nobody on that helicopter woke up thinking, oh, we're gonna die today. And following the story was just so tragic because everything that came out about it, in my eyes, it made me seem as though it was so avoidable. The helicopter didn't have to take off. the pilot did not have to fly the plane. But, I just been thinking so much more about appreciating life and appreciating the people I'm here with, and how what you say now could be the last thing you ever say. So we all want to leave legacies, and we want to leave things for people to remember us by. And I would hate, for something that I do or say intentionally in a negative light to be a lasting memory in anybody's head. So, it didn't take for Kobe and Gianna's death for me to see that, but it opened my eyes a little bit more. And since then, I've really been striving to just build better relationships with people and to just let them know how I feel while they're still here. And I hope you guys could do the same. And, man, it should never take for a celebrity who was as big as Kobe to lose his life for the world to see, how precious life is and to start appreciating it more. But that's the world we live in. Look, for my first episode back, I think it was pretty dope. I've noticed that this is probably one of my longer episodes, but I'm just glad that I took the chance to do everything I wanted to do on this episode. I don't want to talk about coronavirus. I don't want to talk about a lot of the bullshit that's happened, like Gail trying Kobe and being a dog-faced bitch. There's a lot of shit that we could discuss, like Trump and... Anyway, but I'm going to leave that for another time because I just think it was dope enough to give you guys the content I did today. And I really hope that y'all find something in this episode that you could chime in on and that you can engage in. And I'll be here so we could talk. Thanks, y'all.